Hello, all you lovely computer people, and welcome back to another episode of Lost in the Farmer's Market, where today we're looking at this lovely specimen here. Now, I'm very sure a lot of you will have absolutely no idea what this is, but a few of you in the herbal trade will know exactly what it is. Maybe. Because it looks like a whole slew of other things. However, today, in this episode, I am happy to give you a plant scientifically known as Silybum marianum. Just silly bum. Yeah, no, that's actually socially unacceptable. Anyway, its common name is milk thistle. Yeah, that one. The for really real deal. I often joke that, will the real thistle please stand up? Because there's so many things called thistle that don't actually count. However, this is the for really real milk thistle, because there are a couple different milk thistles too. However, and you know that because, the family it's in. Now, I should point out, the true thistles are in the aster family, which is really cool. So this is an aster. The name Silybum actually comes from Greek silybon or silybos, meaning tassel or tuft, which is a reference to its flowers. Okay. Marianum means of Mary. Now I'm going to warn you, the origins of the of Mary part gets weird real quick. We're going to go through the basic details first, and then we'll get to that. Now, milk thistle is native to southern Europe, specifically and/or Asia. It is hardy in USDA zones 3 through 9 and is classified as a biennial or annual, though some references call it a perennial, and they may be confusing the thistles in that. Its soil pH preferences are 5.5 to 7.6. Now, when it comes to growing thistles in the Carolinas, there's one thing you got to remember. They don't mind sand too much. What they do mind is our heat. So you got to pick the site pretty well. Now, their exposure is full sun to partial sun, and individual plants can get 2 to 6 feet high. Yeah, you heard that. 2 to 6 feet high. Yep. 1 to 3 feet wide, which, if you've ever seen a horrid thistle, which is one of our other species out here, I don't believe it's native, holy crap do they get big. Now, this plant has a lot of other names, which just adds to the confusion, which is why we generally don't use common names. But they are, and I quote, Blessed Milk Thistle, Marian Thistle, married him, darn well killed him, Mary Thistle, Mary, not the other one, St. Mary's Thistle, Mediterranean Milk Thistle, Variegated Thistle, which is the best one of the lot, really, Scotch Thistle. Okay. Now, why is this plant called milk thistle in the first place? Now, you'd think that'd have to do something with, like, when you crush the seeds, it's a milky substance, or something rational like that. No. It's called milk thistle because of the white variegation, which is said to be Mother Mary's milk. Yeah. I'm not sure what to do with that one. Did she spill milk on it by accident, just carrying a jug of milk, or... You know what, I'm not going to think about that, because on the internet, that's just a horrible concept. I'm going to leave that alone. It sounds like something that me, Canyon, would do in a video somewhere. Name drop. Anyway, this plant is generally grown as an annual in agricultural purposes. For agricultural purposes, they work to get to grow really big, and then they harvest the seeds. The foliage is edible, actually. However, that's generally not what it's grown for in agriculture. Now, they have a trick where basically, since the seeds don't evenly ripen, they wait about 2 weeks after about 50% of the seed head is complete, and then they use equipment to harvest the seed heads, and by then the other one should, or most or all of the other ones should be ready to go. Now, the active medicinal ingredient is Silymarin, which sounds like a name for a hilarious female horse. Oh, that's Silymarin hanging out with Mr. Ed. But anyway, that particular compound is found on and in the seed coats. I don't know if it's found anywhere else in the plant, or if it's That's where it's most concentrated, and this is going to be a common theme with asters. That something involving the seed or the flower head is where the active ingredient is. So, for instance, pyrethrum daisies, from which we originally isolated pyrethrum, the insecticidal compound, it was found in the flower heads. Chamomile does this too. You know, when you do chamomile tea, you're not harvesting the foliage, you're harvesting the flowers if you want the best effect. I mean, the foliage has other uses, but the flowers are what you need for the tea so you can go to sleep. And the list goes on like that. Daisies are notorious for this. In fact, when it comes to cone flowers, their active ingredient is in the flower. Asters be all up about that flower, yo. Oh, did I mention marigolds? I feel that I should mention that usually one of the best parts to eat is the flower, universally across the species. I mean, asters be all about that flower. But anyway, milk thistle extracts are used as liver tonics, and sometimes even to treat liver damage from death cap poisoning, which is very interesting. I could not find any statistics on how effective that last part is, but it is interesting to note that milk thistle is universally known to be a liver and bladder tonic. They help with both, actually. I don't know if it does anything for like kidney stones, but it's targeted towards like cirrhosis of the liver, fatty liver. I'm assuming that's a different condition. Liver damage from heavy drinking, things like that. That's what milk thistle is really supposedly good for. Now, there is some information saying not so much, and there's some information saying totally the fact. If you're going to use this to treat a major medical situation, I would advise you consult a doctor and or a qualified and credentialed herbalist about this, because you are irreplaceable. But that bottle of medicine that came from that crazy quack herbalist up the street who also goes into little fits, that can be replaced. You cannot. Your health is valuable. But anyway, now as for milk thistle in the garden, some people claim it is invasive, and it could be if you let the seed heads mature and the little seeds float away on their little parachutes. Sure. If you snip off the flowers before they mature, you can pickle them like artichokes and do pickled artichokes. They are a substitute for that because, not surprisingly, cardoons and all that, I believe, are in the aster family and aren't that far related, not that distantly related. So there you go. As I said, the leaves are edible. They do require some preparation. I should warn you, the leaves are mildly prickly. Not like, oh my god, my arms are on fire bad, but a modest deterrent. Something to consider. And of course, the foliage is amazing. When I started growing this from seed, I had no idea what a milk thistle actually looked like. And then I looked it up, and it looked like it was made of cracked green glass almost. Like hazy, cracked green glass because of the white venations, which are not really showing up well on camera today. But I will do an update with this bad boy planted out in the field somewhere so you can actually see the magic. So, that's milk thistle for you, folks. I'm glad to have brought it to you. It's one of the weird and unusual plants that I bought seed for this year because I figured, why the heck not? I mean, that is how I get in trouble, but I digress. So, if you like this episode or have any thoughts about milk thistle, please put them in the comments section. If you like this video, please hit like. If you haven't already, please subscribe. We're trying to grow a channel. We're trying to reach out to different worlds. The blog is still running. The pointy stick of destiny has fallen off the counter. And as always, folks, keep them growing, and thanks for watching.